they allow you to connect between one HANA database to another database, another HANA database, or a HANA database to a non-SAP database, okay, or HANA to a application. Whatever the connectivity options are there, these are the connectivity tools or the adapters. Okay, the different IMCE clients are IMCE ODBO, or basically this is OLE DB for OLAP. OLE stands for Object Link Enabling. Object Link Enable database connection for OLAP systems. Next one is the IMCE ODBC, which is Open Database Connectivity. IMCE JDBC. This is the Java database connectivity. Next one you have IMCE SQL DBC. That is the SQL database connectivity. Again, your Java or JDBC connection and ODBC connection are the most commonly used clients. I mean, they are most frequently used. Right now, your JDBC or Java database connectivity option is actually part of your Oracle systems. How is that? Basically, when SAP went and bought SAP Business Objects, Oracle actually went and bought Sun Microsystems. So Sun Microsystems owned Java, now Oracle owns Java. So what SAP says is, let's not, we don't prefer to use JDBC connectivity, let's use ODBC. ODBC is again an open source connection, so anybody can use it, no issues. But again, between ODBC and JDBC, performance wise or speed wise, your JDBC is much faster. So we still tend to use JDBC, but SAP is just, they just don't want to have their competitors' products. So they are just letting us know that don't use JDBC. Okay, so these are the 4 backend connectivity tools. Okay, don't get this confused at all. IMCE clients are ODBO, ODBC, JDBC and SQL DBC. These are the backend adapters. This is one question in the certification exam you can always expect. What are the IMCE clients? These are the 4 ones. I mean, they will frame it in a different fashion or something, but you will have one question from this. And the next component is IMCE Studio. Okay, IMCE Studio is something similar to your presentation server. It is like an interface between your desktop system and the backend database server. It's like a SAP logon pad. You click on this particular one, it launches this particular screen. But this is a little different. But this is the tool that we will use to access your database, to design models, to do administration, to do user administration, backup recovery. All our actions will be done using this. Very rarely does even a system administrator need to log in to the backend server. Next we have the Sybase replication server and the Sybase ECDA. Like I mentioned before, initially this product was built by Sybase Corporation. So we still find a lot of Sybase components. These two are one of them. Basically these two components are used when log based replication is done or the Sybase based replication methodology technology is used, which is again slowly being phased out. So we won't see much of this, but these are the components that are available. Next again is the Sybase replication agent, which is again used for your log based replication. So the next component which we are looking into is the SAP HANA load controller. Basically these 3 particular components are also part of your log based replication. What happened here was, like I said, Sybase, when they built their replication technology, they only wanted this replication technology to be available to their customers, for Sybase customers only. So when SAP came into picture, they added some components of their own into the HANA database and to build the current product. So they also added the HANA load controller so that when you do the log based replication, the log based replication, what Oracle is actually fighting with SAP for is that they are saying the log based replication technique which is available violates your RDBMS rules. So SAP added this load controller just so that these violations can be kept in check. So again, these three components are also actually used only for one purpose, that is your log-based replication. The next part is your SAP host agent. Basically now with let's say, I'm not sure which version of NetWeaver, but from NetWeaver, I think from 2009 onwards, SAP is insisting that all their products, ERP, BW, CRM, all of them be installed on the SAP host agent. Okay, they are saying you install the host agent first and then install any NetWeaver component you want. Basically, this is sort of used to control your installation and get your versions and everything correct. So these are the software components in SAP HANA. There may be a lot of smaller components, but these are the main components we are looking at. Okay, and then we come to the software editions, different software editions. Basically, you know, any software that is sold in the market is actually packaged and sold. You never sell out separate tools individually, which is again not profitable for the customer or for the company. For example, when you purchase Microsoft Office, you always purchase 2 or 3 tools together, right? No, I don't think anybody has gone and purchased just Microsoft Word. You either purchase Microsoft Excel, Microsoft Word, and PowerPoint at the same time, or you purchase a Microsoft Office Professional Edition or a Student Edition, something like that, right? That is quite useful because you get more value for your money as well as the company sells more products. So this particular packaging, 3 software editions, is something similar to it. Right? Okay, the only aim of this particular edition is to sell more of the tools. And what is this extra tools that they are trying to sell? That particular tool is nothing but SAP Business Objects, or SAP, to be particular, SAP Business Objects Data Services. This particular thing, what SAP is trying to do is, SAP says for customers who don't have, who have BODS, or for customers who don't have BODS but don't want to purchase BODS. Basically, any customer who does not want to purchase BODS, he can go for the platform edition. Okay, for any customer, maybe the customer already has BODS, okay, or the customer does not want to purchase BODS, you can go for platform edition. Okay, for any customer who wants to purchase BODS, he can go for the enterprise edition. Again, those two, that is in addition to the HANA thing. Okay, these are your HANA software editions. So mandatorily in your platform enterprise edition or extended enterprise, you are going to have HANA software, all these HANA tools included. Only thing is BODS is the add-on that SAP is trying to package. So if your customer does not want BODS, then platform edition is the recommended one. If the customer wants BODS, then enterprise edition. If the customer wants all the tools available with HANA, everything, that is the enterprise extended edition. Okay, you can understand it however you want, but basically platform edition does not have BODS, enterprise edition does have BODS, enterprise extended edition has all the components put together. So that's what I've given here. Platform edition is for customers who already have a license for SAP Business Objects Data Services. Okay. Then enterprise edition is for customers who do not already have necessary licenses for SAP Business Objects Data Services. Okay. And the reason why I explained this particular point to you is basically initially what happened was when SAP was promoting this particular product. So all the hardware components that SAP HANA uses, your SAP HANA server uses, this particular tool, basically most of it is built by Intel Corporation. So initially SAP also approached Intel as customers for this particular product. So initially Intel agreed for a POC project and started working on it. But when SAP told them that they needed to buy business objects data services, Intel refused. Intel said that we already have SAP servers, SAP systems. I want to transfer data between SAP source to your SAP HANA database. Why do I need to purchase a third tool? So now SAP came up with a, let's say, a stand-in solution, some sort of a temporary fix. That temporary fix is known as a LT replication add-on and LT replication server. Okay, they sort of came up with this solution just so that customers who did not want to purchase BODS can do real-time replication. Okay, so that's where I explained it as, customers who don't want to purchase BODS, customers who want to purchase BODS. Fine. So these two components actually, LT replication add-on and LT replication server, SAP is very clever with this licensing question here. What they are saying is, when you are purchasing the enterprise edition, okay, you are going to get these two components free. Okay, it is sort of an buy your purchase BODS and you will get these two components free. But again, when you are purchasing a platform edition, you are not actually purchasing business objects, in which case you need to purchase replication add-on and replication server separately. Okay, so these two have to be paid for in the platform edition. When I say these two are free, when you purchase business objects, that does not mean that they are free always. Only when you are purchasing the enterprise edition, you get these two components free. Okay, and then comes the enterprise extended edition. This is nothing but all the software components SAP HANA has. All your tools from enterprise edition, platform edition, also the Sybase components, everything is included in this. Yes. So these are the three software editions. Okay. Again, this is something of a question that the customer would be asking you. If the customer is, comes up to you and the question is, which is the software edition that is most preferable to me? Okay. So the first question you will be asking him is, do you have business objects? Okay. If he says yes, kindly verify what is the version of BODS. BODS 4.0 and above is the only one we are looking at, or the only one that is suitable to be used with HANA. Okay. The simple reason being, any version less than 4.0 did not support real-time replication. Okay. So these are the three software editions available. Okay. Now we come to the hardware vendors or the hardware. I'm showing you something like five vendors here, but I have a more of a recent product availability matrix, PAM. Okay, so yes, let's just discuss this a little bit. So the first thing what you can see is, this is a single HANA node. Okay, so let's take a look at it. The first column here indicates all your hardware vendors. Currently there are 7 hardware vendors or certified hardware vendors. They are Dell, Fujitsu, HP, IBM, Hitachi, Cisco and NEC, also HP also. So 7 hardware vendors are supported for your hardware as hardware partners. Fine. So the next column is the server system, which is generally a name, a product ID, something like that, which is given by these hardware vendors. Next point comes to the processor, the CPU. So here we can see that it is using a Nehalem EX Intel X7560 processor. So let me put a search for this processor. We'll find a specification sheet. It's a 8-core server. Server processor or a 8-core system. Yes, 8-core system. There are 2 commonly used processors in our HANA hardware. One of them is this one, Nehalem processor. The next one is known as Westmere, okay, which is a more which is a higher version of your Nehalem processor. Okay, this is the Westmere processor. Let's just look this up also. Okay, so this is a 10-core processor. You can see this. So these are the two commonly used processors, Nehalem and Westmere. Both of them are Intel 4th generation processors. Okay. So now when you are seeing a number here, it says 2 Nehalem processor, 2 into Nehalem processor. So that's technically 2 into 8 cores. That is 16 core CPU. Okay. Similarly, when I'm talking about a Westmere processor, that says 4 into 4 Westmere processors. That is 40 core CPU. Okay. This is how your configuration works. So this is the CPU capability that is shown here. Next comes the log volume and the data volume. This is your hard disk based storage. Okay. What is this log volume and data volume? We will come into it next in the architecture. But for now, both these are the what do you say? The storage capability of your hard disk. The next one is what is important to us is the memory. This is the HANA server memory or the size on which it is classified. 128 GB would be an extra small server. Okay, you can look at the memory size over here. We have from 128 GB to 512 and then 1 terabyte. So this 1 terabyte would be considered as a large server. And 128 GB would be an extra small server. Anything beyond 1 terabyte is considered as an extra large server. Okay. Next is the file system. There are like 4 or 5 file systems available, like ext3, XFS. Okay. But the most, the preferred file system or the one file system that works very well with the HANA server configuration is GPFS. And GPFS is a proprietary file system by IBM. Okay, it is only used on IBM servers. But the point here is, I'm not recommending your IBM servers. I'm just saying the IBM servers, this particular file systems works best with your HANA system. Okay, maybe the IBM hardware and everything else is expensive, or there may be some other faults. But this particular file system works best with HANA. Okay, so we saw all this file system. Next, the final column here is the operating system. But if you notice here, it is the same entry for all of it again and again and again. SLES11SP1. That is SUSE Linux Enterprise Server Service Pack 11. Service Pack 1. Minimum Service Pack 1. Service Pack level is 1. Okay. So what you can see is this particular operating system is used by all the hardware vendors also. HP, Fujitsu, IBM. If you look at everybody is still using the same thing. What you can understand from this is SAP HANA is operating system dependent. Okay. It only runs on your SUSE Linux Enterprise Server 11. Okay. Anything below that, anything other than that, HANA is not supporting that particular operating system. Okay, clear? HANA is operating system dependent. And this is what we are currently seeing is a single node architecture, meaning maximum storage of 1 terabyte only. Now, what you have here in the final sheet is a scale out approach or multi-node architecture, multi-node system. So if you see here, let's say most of the configuration is again same. You have, Westmere processors. You have storage that is being described here. How much of memory you have per server. what is the file system and everything. Operating system is still SUSE Linux. But if you read this particular one, scale out up to 16 nodes. That is to say, we are giving 16 servers in parallel, each with 512 GB of RAM. Okay, so for some of them other things like your IBM machine, 1 terabyte RAM per server and scale out up to 16 nodes. That is 16 GB of data storage on a single HANA server. Okay, so this is your hardware that is currently available. So here when I'm pointing at 320 cores, I'm not pointing at 320 processors or a single processor. You saw how many processors are assembled on a single board, and depending upon the number of cores on a single processor, you will get this final number. Okay, so this is your product availability matrix or hardware vendors. Okay, so this brings to an end your introduction unit.
Who is the cheap and best vendor in the market currently?
See, the cheap and best is again it is not that easy to let you know. Basically, the reason is first of all, what I'm showing here. Okay, these are sort of standard models. Okay, they may come with a fixed set price, or depending upon what sizing you are doing, you will get a price from the customer. In this case, yes, I mean, like when you are looking at your this particular model, popular models, you will get a fixed price from the your vendors, your hardware vendors. But generally, what would be cheaper is an assembly or a design from scratch. What customers tend to do is they go to the white box designers. Okay, they go to the very core level of design and get your HANA box built for them specifically. In the sense, now what they can do is, like for example, your Samsung chips, Samsung based chips. Okay, they may be more expensive or they may be cheaper than when you're comparing it with your Intel processing chips. Okay, it depends on the manufacturer availability, what sort of processor chips you're using, how much of quality you're going in for the assembly. So the cost actually is very varied. But again, what is the advantage actually? What SAP has done with this is, see, Oracle also has I mean actually a software something like this, Oracle Exalytics. What it does with Exalytics is again a sort of an in-memory processing. They have high amount of cache, but the problem there is Oracle actually supplies the hardware, the software packaged together and delivered to your customer doorstep. With this, what happens is Oracle is the only vendor who is dictating the price. Now Oracle says this particular server costs this much. You can't tell them, I don't want to buy from you, I'll go buy it from somebody else. That is not possible. But in a SAP case, what happens here is, now if HP is, raising the price of their servers, it is the customer can gladly go to the other vendors. So there is a competition between the hardware vendors to get the best quote. So with all this, the customer is the one who wins. He will get the best product at the lowest of possible rates. Yeah. Okay. So this is this is the end of your introduction. Any questions from yesterday or today regarding this? Okay. So let's go on to the next unit. Yeah. Now we are discussing the architecture. Okay. This particular architecture this shows you the architecture overview. Here I can point out to hello? Sorry. Okay. This is the architecture overview what you are looking at here. Okay. The wire actually came out again once, so I thought I lost you again. Sorry. Okay. So this is the architecture overview what we are looking at now. We will go into the architecture into separate point of views. So first let's try to understand the architecture overview over here. In this case, what happens is, okay, we have 5 different layers.